Broncos are back on top of the Rugby League world.
G'day, welcome to another edition of Wide World of Sports. I'm Nick McCardle. Great to have your company. On deck this week, World Rugby Hall of Fame, Matt Burke. Berkey, welcome to
Nicholas,
you.
hello.
Paralympian Ellie Cole, good to see you. Ellie, Olympian, Hockey-Roo, Georgie Parker.
All of it.
Rugby League legend Brad Fittler joining us as well. Freddie, we've got a bit to talk about today, I reckon.
We sure have.
Another great round of Rugby League. We're going to do that very, very shortly. Let's have a look at what's coming up on this edition of Wide World of Sports. Terrific to have Brad Fittler with us this morning. Freddie, great to see you as always. We've got obviously the footy show coming up, but you've come in early. Nathan Cleary, a free agent at the end of the year. Where's he favourite to land?
Well, I think one or two. I think from a Penrith point of view, being an ex-Panther, I'd love him to stay a one-club player. But I think he's done a lot at Penrith. And from a rugby league point of view, I'd also love to see him up in with the Chiefs. I think imagine having Nathan Cleary as your major signing for the new PNG Chiefs. I think that'd be just awesome. But I think at the moment he's got about 7 months until he hits the free market. So a lot can happen between them. But just the way he handles on the field and off the field, you know, what a role model he's become. And you know, in doing that, he also gets wins. They've won 4 competitions, been in a couple of the grand finals. Like, he's been incredible. So, you know, wherever he lands, he's going to add value.
Yep, success follows Nathan Cleary. What about rugby, Berkey? Given that rugby has made a habit in recent times.
Leave him alone. Just stay away. Just leave him alone.
I haven't got the checkbook, Freddie. That's the one. I think he'd be too expensive to start with. I mean, he'd be on an incredible wicket now. Could he come across? He could go across. I reckon if he did, it would be like a Japan maybe, like where he goes up there and just settles into it. The biggest thing about Nathan Cleary, he'd have to learn the game. He'd have to learn the nuances of the game. And we saw just then, his ability to run, pass, back up and kick goals. It's great. And there's a correlating aspect there, but you've got to understand the game. And if it's him trying to come across, I don't think he'd be able to grab it so quickly to look at a World Cup in 27 or a World Cup in 31, perhaps. But they need to develop their own. You know, I mean, you can't rely on someone like a Nathan Cleary to come across. It'd be pretty good, though, but I don't think so.
It'd be good for the marketing aspect anyway.
Marketing as well, yeah.
Exactly. Right. Speaking of the Panthers, though, their unbeaten run's over. Were you expecting that?
No, not at all. No one was, because obviously Canterbury lost their captain, and he's such a great leader, Stephen Crichton. The way they fell to pieces last week when he went off, but they just nailed the start of the game. They were so aggressive, Canterbury, and what it did, it just sort of started to force errors into the Panthers. They got out to 16-0. Penrith actually got back to 16-all, and then when you thought Penrith were going to stand up, it was the other way around. They really attacked that left side. Blaze Talangi missed about 9 tackles, and a lot of them are on that bloke, Jacob Preston. He's been in outstanding form. Whether they're winning or losing, he's been just about their best player. So the big thing was coming out of that game, out of the 5 tries, 4 of them for forwards. So they just ran through them, and that's the real concerning part for Ivan.
And entertainment on the field as well as off with Ivan Cleary. He, I wouldn't say waved, but greeted some Bulldogs fans. Is this the usual kind of Penrith greeting?
Well, he's so cool and calm, Ivan. It's good to see got a little bit ruffled, you know.
It was subtle, sort of.
What does it mean?
I don't know.
Red card on the end.
Freddie, let's go to the Red V. Shane Flanagan, where is he? What's going to happen? 0-6, and then was it an omen on the way down? The merch vehicle crashed on the way down, sort of got a bit of death wobbles and see you later.
Say, it's a pretty good result here, actually, that no one got hurt.
Wow.
Look at that. Yeah, that's not a good omen at all.
Driving it.
Was that like, is anybody buying their merch at the moment, Freddie?
Well, yeah, there's none in there, that's right.
Okay, right.
They weren't wasting their time. But I think at the moment, from a point of view of the coach, there's got to be a better coach there sitting in the wings, and I think Dean Young's the one that's sort of at the moment who's the assistant coach. The other is there's going to be a financial side of it, so I don't know what the Dragons are like in that department. The one thing with the Dragons is they've forgotten how to win. So in the last 20 minutes in this game, and then also against Melbourne a couple of weeks ago, they're in positions with 20 minutes to go or so to win the game. They're actually in front. But in both games, they fell apart. You know, they had a couple of bad errors from players where just cold drops at crucial stages of the game, and then you just see them just drop their heads. And so they look like they're a fair way away from winning at the moment.
They say winning is contagious, just like losing.
Just like losing, yeah. They choke when the result comes into play.
The Warriors beat the Storm in Melbourne. How significant is that for both teams, really?
Well, it's been a decade since they've won a game down there, the Warriors. But the way they did it, you know, this is a really young team, and there's some really young athletes and superstars coming through the Warriors at the moment. Helala Kasimi, Va'amunge, Laban, Tanner Stower-Smith, I think his name is. But these are just unbelievable athletes, all 20, 22 years old. And they just absolutely were brutal against this side. They manhandled the Storm. And once again, the Storm were actually in front. I think it was 18-16 at one stage of the game, but they just never went away. And they never went away from being brutal. And come up with some great tries at the end of the game. And poor old Melbourne, 4 in a row. That's sort of somewhere we've haven't seen it for a long time.
Now, I'm from WA, lived there for 10 years, and they had a little bit of a treat having some league footy over there. You don't get much of it over there. And it was the Sharks who had a massive comeback win. Well,
yeah, the Roosters. The Roosters, come on.
Roosters having massive comeback against the Sharks, who were up, though, for a majority of that match.
Same thing, 16-0. Yeah. They jumped out to a great start. The Roosters were making so many errors. They were 50% completions towards the back end of the first half. They come up with a couple of tries. They had a try from a beautiful kick from Sam Walker to Daniel Tupou just before half-time. Then they scored just after half-time. And it killed the Sharks. Like, they're on 22. Yeah, they just sort of have that trouble winning off the back foot and chasing points. Roosters had a couple of nice tries off kicks, which we'll sort of look into later. But the good thing was, and the beauty of Western Australia, is the daytime games. Yeah. So we get to see more daytime games because of the time difference. So I think there were 70 points in the earlier game and then about 64 in that game. So nice open footy, and that's what we want to see.
Well, that's the one I would talk to you about, Freddie. Their Optus Stadium looked fantastic. It looked like a great track. Quick, Bunnies and the Raiders. Not much defence happening in that 70-point sort of game. I mean, it was a classic game in itself, but how do you equate that one?
Well, I think South can do that too, where they sort of go asleep, fall asleep at stages. Hudson Young was fantastic. They did some really slick things, the Canberra Raiders side. Simi Sasungi, there's a back row who's been playing out on the left centre. He's been outstanding, coming up with some brilliant plays. And then all of a sudden, South just turned around. Latrell bullied his way over and scored a try, and then Cody Walker come up with some brilliance, and then all of a sudden, this young bloke, have a look how quick he is. I think he dodged about 6 or 7 defenders. That's a 100-metre try, tackle one. They had this awesome try last year where they beat Penrith on the bell, and it was Ko Weeks that scored that try as well.
Absolutely love it when they break through. I mean, there was a really high-scoring game at Suncorp as well. What did you make of the Cowboys win? Was that a surprise to you?
They're so good. Like, they got that Penrith about them where they've got so many sort of slick players through the middle of the field that they've created this passing game, and Jackson Purdue on the end of it just showing just speed. Scott Drinkwater's the one that's sort of, I think, really creating all the points in amongst a team that's, you know, defending well and finding a way to win. They sort of missed a couple of games early in the season. Matt Duffy, Tom Duffy, who come up with a brilliant game. He's like pretty much their third selection halfback. He was awesome. Come up with a couple of beautiful passes, the field goal. There's Drinky. He levelled it. Then with a couple of minutes to go, they came up with this play. It'll be interesting. There was a couple of calls. There was a couple of, I don't even know what they call them at the moment. The words lost me. Where you're going up for kicks. There was a couple of that.
Obstructor, is that what it was?
Run it, the block.
Anyway, so we're going to talk about that later, but they're sort of getting that a little bit wrong at the moment. They've become pretty sensitive. So we'll see how that evolves as the year goes on.
Yeah, Freddie and the team on the Sunday Footy Show a little bit later here on 9, and of course that's where we're up to in terms of matches.
Sorry to disrupt you.
That's all right. Absolutely fine. The disruptor, there we are. Tigers and Knights. So 2 of the big improvers really of the season so far. It's huge. So from 3 p.m. Eastern, you'll see it right here on 9 and 9 now. Freddie, thank you very much.
It's been great. Very professional, this
very professional.
Sunday Footy Show, not quite.
I look forward to relax a little bit later.
Yes.
Speed up.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we are going to take a break. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, I'm back Brooklyn. Now I'm down in Tribeca, right next to the narrow. But I'll be here forever. I'm the new Sinatra. And since I made it here, I can make it anywhere. They love me everywhere. Me, I'm out that Bed-Stuy, home of that Rugby, and I live in Billboard, and I be spiked out. I can trip it up with it. Tell by my attitude that I'm most definite from.
How good is that? That's our women's cricketers taking over Old Mate's Pub in New York, and the streets surrounding it, has to be said. So straight off, clean sweep of the West Indies. They head to New York.
If you're not
that
scoring
so
300 on that road over a weekend, you're in trouble.
and also, so when they ring the bell, if a famous Australian face gets in there and rings the bell, it's free drinks for everyone.
Andy Lee knows exactly what he's doing. Every single Australian athlete.
How
that
good's
goes to New
touring,
York
by the way?
Oh.
How good's the finish of a tour, by the way? Fantastic.
Hey, did you see this during the week? So the top money earners in Australian sport, this was released by the Sydney Morning Herald during the week. So we're going to count them down today. This is 10 to 6. So the Demon, $13 to $14 million a year. Jet Lawrence, who's in motocross. Mark Leishman, the golfer. Matisse Thybulle, who is a basketballer. And Josh Green also in the NBA.
A lot of money.
They are the
Just
top
missed out.
5. We're going to count down 5 to 1 a little bit later. We'll get these guys to have a bit of a think about who that might be. You can do the same. I wonder if Jimmy Bartel is on there. Jimmy, welcome.
Welcome. No, I think what they get taxed would be my whole career earnings right there. And you've got a man just sitting next to you with rugby, Berkey. I think he owns half of Sydney nowadays, doesn't he?
You got that straight from David Tunnicliffe.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Hey, let's talk some footy, Jimmy. The Bulldogs' first loss of the season, and costly too, with Ed Richards injured.
Yeah, Ed Richards came back from an injury, and we were all surprised how quickly he was able to make his way back onto the field. He's a massive loss if he is to miss a couple of weeks off the new injury, but they're also missing Tim English, and that's where the Hawks really took over in the game. They played two, call it number one rucks, two guys who could probably play 90% game time as the number one ruck, and they certainly utilised that to their advantage. The Wizard Watson, all their small forwards, their midfield was dominant. John Newcomb had 15-plus clearances, and I think it probably said more about the Hawks, their ability to stay patient. They opened up the ground really well. So they won it on the inside, the Hawks, which they were dominant, as I mentioned, with those rucks, but then they kept the ball off the doggies. I don't think it's a huge setback for the Bulldogs, because once they get Tim English and Ed Richards, and then you throw in Liberatore as well, they'll be still there as a top 4 side.
And Jimmy, Isaac Feeney had a day out against the Suns. He was best on ground. Are they the real deal this year, the Swannies?
Yeah, they certainly are. I know Tubby sent that question in for you, Berkey, but look, they couldn't get going last year. They had a stack of injuries in the first half, and then they came rattling home in the second half of the year. They're still without Errol Goulden, but some other players are starting to lift their game in McInerney and Roberts. They're playing a more attacking and expansive style of footy for Sydney, which is using the handball, the forward handball, which is making them really exciting and really dangerous. They're lively on the forward line, and Kerner hasn't quite hit the absolute heights, but they haven't needed him to yet, because Heaney and Papali, Warner, I mentioned McInerney are hitting the scoreboard. I reckon Isaac Heaney would be maybe leading the Brownlow at this stage. He's had some massive games.
Mate, Essendon's been the butt of the joke of the AFL for a really long time. It's been nearly a year since they've won a game, but they finally did. 17 losses in a row, finally got a win. And against Melbourne, were you expecting that win? Surely not.
Look, Melbourne were certainly the favourites, George, going into this game, but not to be surprised if Essendon was to win, because Melbourne are still emerging under their new coach, Stephen King, and they're trying to play a different game style themselves, and they're pretty flat and lethargic in this game. That man there, Archie Roberts, has been playing really good footy for the Bombers. They showed signs in the second half last week against the Bulldogs that if they actually take out the opposition's uncontested marks, they can actually compete, and they did that this week. It was a good win, good for Essendon fans. They deserved, I'm going to use the new football term, nourishment, which is a shocking word to use, but it seems to come into footy lingo now. They got nourishment for all their hard work.
You don't have to use the word.
It's junk. It's absolute
into.
junk. I'm sick of it.
I think the D's need a bit more nourishment as well.
Yeah, that's
well, the Freo got up against the Pies in what I would call a pretty, well, I don't want to call it a scrappy match, but I'm going to call a spade a spade. But the highlight for me was seeing Tex Walker, son, running out onto the field there with Collingwood. What was that all about?
Yeah, it was a stinker as far as, highlights go because it was thundering rain. But this is a great moment. That's Tex Walker's son, who's a massive Nick Dacos fan, and well done to Collingwood. They threw him a Collingwood jumper, but still had Walker across the back, and it brings back stories. Nick Dacos was a Carlton supporter, supposedly, which, his famous dad for Collingwood probably was, shrugging the shoulders. But this is really well done. There's good moments still in footy. They handled that really well. It's a very serious game, but before the game, we can have some light-hearted and good feel-good moments. But it was a cracking game, and well done to Freo. It's showing some maturity and some real resilience from the Dockers, and they should be positioned to be a top 2 side. They've got 13 games out west this year. They're experienced. They don't want for much. A couple of injury concerns, but they're still going along beautifully, the Dockers.
Jimmy, thank you.
No worries, guys.
Always good to catch up with Jimmy Bartel in Melbourne. We're going to take a quick break. More to come here on Wide World of Sports.
Oh, here he goes again, Castellanos! West Ham double their lead. From Castellanos for West Ham. Here they come again. It's 4-0 for West Ham United. As Lewis Potter gets himself into problems there. Cross comes in, Beto's header. He puts it away, and Everton are level. Step overs again, and a brilliant finish. Gakpo, Salah. Will it break here? It will. And that sealed it. Clever ball. Truffert and Krupi. Bournemouth strike first at the home of the would-be champions. Few deep breaths. Clock end. Gyökeres. Emphatic. Touch for Alex Scott, who buries it. Sharp intake of breath right around the Emirates.
That was a great night. The title race really heating up in the English Premier League, as is the battle to avoid relegation. A massive game for Spurs, who are in the relegation zone, but a trip to Sunderland is far from easy. Aston Villa visits Forest. A win for Manchester City at Chelsea would put the pressure well and truly on Arsenal after that loss overnight. The classic rivalry at Old Trafford, Manchester United and Leeds. You can see it all on Stan Sport, your home of the English Premier League. We are going to push a couple of quick singles. Georgie, give me something. You got anything? What do you got?
Well, 4-time world champions Italy. We know they have not made the World Cup. It's heartbreaking for all of Italy, but how's this? Canada have a solution for who they should support. Canada Soccer has invited all Italian Canadians to get behind their hometown, Canada. And look at this lineup. So if you brought your Italian jersey, you could swap it for a Canadian one. And how's that? So you didn't cost anything. You just had to swap it over. I wonder what they're doing with it, burning them, donating them, what they're doing. But it made me wonder, guys, how would we feel if New Zealand or even worse, England did that to us? Hey, you guys didn't qualify, but here, we're one of these jumpers.
Pretty condescending.
A little bit. I'd be flat, but it's a bit of fun for Italy. They have someone to support.
Well, I'm going for my quick single being the baseball in the MLB. Punches, not baseballs thrown. It gave us more swings off the diamond than on. Bit of WrestleMania, as you can see. There's a high and wide pitch. Suddenly, George Soler started marching towards the mound here, as you can see. And then before we knew it, Lopez trying the classic hands up. And then right up until he threw a punch while still holding the baseball in his hand, by the way. But then my favourite part was the Braves manager, Walter Weiss, launching himself like he was in the NRL. So scenes you don't usually see, and both players receiving a 7-game suspension.
Probably fair enough.
Yeah, the connect, though, that's the only thing. What about this one? This is great. This is Tadej Pogacar. This is the Tour of Flanders. And there was a train stopping, a train crossing. And so the peloton stopped, but then a couple of sneaky guys went through and kept on pushing through. Now, they were saying the rules are that they should have been disqualified. This is Pogacar. Remember, he's a 4-time champion of the Tour de France as well. They let the lead group go, but the rules state that they should have brought the peloton back together again. So it's under investigation at the moment. through the Belgian authorities. And there's the only moral to the story, that is, cyclists stick to the road rules.
Exactly right.
Oh,
Do they though?
they're going to come at me now, aren't they?
Their team was actually the right driver of the train just to make sure they stopped them.
Thank you, Sam. Good quick singles. Very nicely done. Big week for Australian swimming, the Australian Swimming Championships. Ellie, you are across that. And it's a big week for some big names in the sport as well.
Yeah, it was an incredible 3 days of competition. I was there every night watching. Both integrated Olympic and para athletes competing in the same schedule, but it's not a selection trials for us. It was effectively most athletes still within the season, still in heavy training, just kind of doing a pressure test of where they are in the season, with trials coming up in just 4 weeks.
And Kyle Chalmers looking very, very good.
He's just incredible, Kyle Chalmers. So it's been announced that the 50s will be contested at the LA Olympic Games. So he's now diving in for the 50 fly, where he actually swam the fastest 50 fly we've ever seen on Australian soil. He puts it down to being a dad. He's just had a daughter recently and absolutely loves swimming. And what I've loved seeing about Kyle is how he has grown from, being such a young athlete, gold medalist at the Rio 2016 Games, to really becoming quite a leader on the team and still loving swimming even after he's become a dad, much like we've seen with Cam McAvoy.
Now, we have so many amazing women's swimmers, and we could be here all day talking about Molly O, though. She's put Australian and the world on notice with her swim. How good was she?
She was incredible in the 200. So Molly O did own the world record for a brief period of time before Ariane Titmus then took that record away from her. So she's on a mission, and she's definitely trying some new things. We saw at this national, she went out in a 55-second for her first 100 split, which we don't usually see. She's a back-end swimmer. And so my guess is that she's really trying to become quite speedy on the front end. But she saw 153 at these nationals. The world record's 152. And she said in a post-race interview that she would love to swim a 151. I mean, if she can do something like that, I think she'll be untouchable for a very long time. Sure it is.
We talk about untouchable. What about the Jack family, like keeping it in the family? Something in the water. Jamie Jack now takes out the 50 free. That's a fairly competitive family.
It is a very competitive family, brother of Shayna Jack. So Jamie Jack took that 50-metre freestyle national title. We, of course, didn't have Cam McAvoy in that race, but that doesn't diminish this kind of performance. I mean, he won by 3/4 of a body length here and certainly put himself in contention for qualifying for our Commonwealth Games team later this year. But so speedy, hasn't been back in the pool for very long, and every time he touches the water, he swims even faster.
Could I just borrow that rig for a little while as well?
Any swimmer's rig.
Back up.
Doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter who it is.
Could you see my eyes just...
All right, guys, calm down. That was my job, to walk around on pool deck with athletes like that. It was a hard life.
I'd forget to press the button.
16-year-old Liam Toa. Have we seen the birth of a new Paralympic superstar? Is this a name that we'll be talking about for years to come?
Absolutely. I mean, I used to train in the same swimming club as Liam, and I've seen him grow up from a young athlete now to touching out Tim Hodge, who is a S9 world record holder. So what's remarkable about this story in particular is Tim Hodge, who he touches out here, actually beat one of Matt Cowdery's world records 2 years ago. Now, Matt Cowdery is our most decorated Paralympian. He's a 13-time Paralympic gold medalist. Along comes Tim Hodge, but now he's been touched out by this 16-year-old Liam Toa, gentle giant from Knox Fimble Swimming Club, an incredible athlete and honestly such a gentleman. And I think we are seeing a future Paralympic champion. But exciting that he's only 16, especially with Brisbane 2032 right around the corner. He'll be doing wonderful things.
Liam Toa. Remember the name. We are halfway through. There's still a whole lot more to go right here on Wide World of Sports.
Here we go. Big final. Capital BIG. Racing for the medals.
An aggressive start by Baff. She's solid and confident into that first turn. Can she just hold that second place for now? Stay patient.
Baff starting to challenge for the lead now. On the inside, moves in front. The Australians in the lead. A little wide there, but carries a lot of speed. Baff still in front. Really getting close to the line now. Takes the final corner. Hold your pace, Josie. Hold your pace. Over the final jump. Baff challenged by Anatikova. Baff gets there. She's baffled them all. Josie Baff is the Olympic champion. What a run. The family going off. The bolo's going off. What a moment. Yes. The smile of a champion, Josie Baff.
Josie #1.
Australia's 8th Winter Olympic gold medalist. And that is how you write your name into the history books.
It's incredible. I've never, ever felt anything even close to that. Today I was actually praying.
So proud of our little girl. She bloody well did it.
All of my family here truly couldn't have done it without them. I'm just in shock. I'm so happy. Holy crap, this is actually happening.
Gold medalist and Olympic champion. Forever.
Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Olympic champion forever. And Josie Baff joins us right here on WWOS Sports. Welcome along, Josie. For us, it's great to watch over and over again, but when you've lived that moment, what is it like does it just get better?
Yeah, my heart actually, like watching that again, I felt like all the emotions start to come back again. So it definitely, every time I watch it, I relive the same feeling, which is nice because I don't want to forget that feeling and it doesn't happen very often. So yeah, it's nice.
I'm sure your parents will always cry when they see that as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think Mum was crying. I had like a welcome home the other day and she was crying. She was like, did a tiny little speech just thanking everyone. There was tears. So I think it's going to be like that for a while.
Well, look, I'd love to talk about the event with you. I love the mentality of being an athlete, and especially like an event like yours. You know, you have to battle through so many different rounds to then make the final, but you have to sit on, you know, going back up the mountain.
Yeah.
What's it like on that journey back up to the top again in between those rounds, and what's going through your head, and how do you keep yourself calm?
Well, we catch a skidoo back up. They get us back up there really quickly, so we're always like on the back of the skidoo, which is kind of a stressful thing in itself, depending on how good the driver.
I love that word.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of like, oh, I'm glad I went through that one. I replay like a few mistakes, and I just tell myself I just got to do that again and do it again and again and again.
You often hear about how gold medalists are like, I can't believe this, is this happening? You're a little bit different. When you're at the top, you speak about how you could see yourself down the bottom winning.
Yeah.
Why were you so sure, and how did you get to that space as an athlete?
I think, like, I mean, it was a lot of work. I definitely didn't have that mindset, like, all the way through. And at the Olympics, I woke up that morning and I said, I know I can win this thing. Like, even like the week prior, I felt like the feelings brewing that it was possible. And I love going into a race like that, knowing that there's a potential. And yeah, it was just really nice. And I got up there, and after the semi-final, so I was going into the final, the worst thing you can do is come fourth. And I was like, look, that's pretty good. And I was like, there's no way I'm coming fourth.
Yeah, you've got a medal already.
I was like, there's no way I'm coming fourth. I'm getting a medal. And I said to my coach, I've got this. And I just had, like, I don't know, every run I was doing it just get better and better, and I had really good sensations.
Josie, I love in sport how you can also get a crossover of other sports as well. You can sort of pick and choose of bits and pieces. And you were a ski racer when you were younger. Did that help you to sort of manufacture that speed down the mountain, getting the right lines?
Honestly, I think so. I credit to ski racing a lot because of the edge control you learn. And skiing has been around for so much longer than snowboarding that you kind of learn, like, theory in ski racing. You learn, like, what the apex of a turn is and when you should apply pressure and all these things that naturally come into your skiing. And I think I just took it over to snowboarding very naturally. And I had, like, the same feeling. My favourite thing is turning on a snowboard. So there was a turn in there which I overtook a lot of people on. It was the second turn, and I was very grateful for that turn and my feelings that I could have on there. And I think that I have got that from ski racing.
Do you still ski a little bit?
Yeah, I tried to. I actually ran the TSRC Cup this year. Well, yeah, just gone, and I want to do it again. So, yeah, it was definitely scary. I did the slalom again where you have to hit down gates, and I hadn't skied skates in like 6 years. So I was nervous at the top of that for sure, but it was really fun. I want to do more of it.
Do you just rock up with your medal as well? Just to make
well,
sure
maybe now I will that I have one. I didn't have one last time.
Just psych them out, So after the winters, you had some more competitions. So back home now, you've been back a week, I think. What does a bit of downtime for Josie Baff look like back home?
It's very lazy, classic people stuff, I reckon. You know, wake up, we have a slow breakfast. My boyfriend's very into golf, so we've been doing a little bit of golf. Yeah, that was my first reaction, but I fear it might be growing on me. We'll see. I love the improving and learning new things, but it was really nice to go home and see everyone. And we had like a welcome home at a Lake Light sculpture event, and lots of the town came, which was really cool to see everyone, because I felt kind of removed from it when I was overseas. You know, you hear it through my parents and you see bits online, but it was really nice to go home and actually see real people's faces in front of you.
and word is you like a bit of baking? Is that a bit of downtime baking?
Yes, I love baking. I actually have been making, I like just like turning, I guess, unhealthy things into healthier options. And because I love a sweet treat, and I really do love it. So I love to bake it, and I bake sourdough and granola, and I just try and get it as healthy as I can.
I know Berkey was very much hoping that you would bring something in this morning.
I definitely thought about it. Look, I'll bring some tomorrow. I'm back in tomorrow, so I'll bring you a little treat.
Right.
Winning an Olympic gold medal is enough.
Well, if you can actually just bring something as well. Like,
you have to try it. You do have to try it. Otherwise, I could just be talking smack. So, yeah, I'll bring some in so you guys can have a taste.
So I was in Cortina for the Winter Paralympics, and it was quite warm, actually, in comparison to
I did see a video of Tuddy with his T-shirt on, competing with his T-shirt, so it must have been very warm.
Well, this recent Sydney weather change reminds me quite a lot of being over in Italy, but you're home now for the next coming months, and we're heading into winter now. You must be looking forward to that. I mean, what are your plans? Are you going to be training in winter, or are you kind of taking the year off?
I'm going to start again, like, properly in July. I usually start training again in June, but I'm going to extend that 1 month longer because the season will also finish kind of late. We finished only like 2 weeks ago, so I'm definitely going to be going somewhere warm in the meantime. It's on the list. We haven't decided where yet, but we know it will be north.
I want to talk about the timeline of you winning. Your boyfriend, a Canadian snowboarder, Elliot, won a silver medal on February the 12th. You decided to one-up him the next day, winning a gold on February the 13th. Valentine's Day, February 14th.
Yes.
What was your favourite day of those three?
Look, I'm going to be biased and say winning the gold medal. Valentine's Day was very chill this year. We were both very tired, so it was very lax. It is every year, to be honest.
How was it like watching him, though, and how are the nerves compared to when you're racing?
I was very nervous, actually. I actually think I get almost more nervous watching, or like you can sit with them more. Like, I don't try to manage my nerves when I'm watching, so I definitely sit there and I'm pretty nervous watching, and you can't do anything, so I'm doing this, you know, looking through, and I'm cheering, and I know that he's worked so hard and he wanted to win, and to me second is still very good, but he did come second at the last games as well, so he wanted to win. The same guy did beat him by the same amount, but yeah, it was really lovely to watch, and I was just really proud, and I think it kind of lights a fire in you, and you carry it into you. But each games we swap, like girls go first on the day, and then the next games the boys go first. So last games I got to go first, and it was way nicer.
Okay.
Because then you and then you get to watch and you're completely relaxed. You're not like, oh, I'm going to be doing this. This time I was kind of watching with a little bit more of a critical eye and trying to take some information that I could then use the next day. So I'm excited for the next game so we can switch back.
Not far away. Hold up your medal. We'll get a shot of the medal. But as you do, what experience has that medal been through so far? Like, what doors has it opened for you? Where's it been and where have you managed to take
I think it's still opening doors, I hope. No, but it has been to a lot of countries. It's been in my carry-on bag. It's gone through a lot of security. It's been... it's stopped my bag a lot of times through security because it's a suspicious-looking thing in a bag. But, yeah, no, I'm very excited to see what else it can bring.
Has it been on a skidoo?
It hasn't been on a skidoo. Maybe I need to do that.
I feel like I need to go on a skidoo.
Yeah, it's just on planes. It likes planes.
Thanks for coming in. Thanks for making the journey, and congratulations.
Thank you.
It's so good. Josie Baff right here on Wide World of Sports. We're going to take another quick break. As we do, one of the highlights of Masters Week, of course the final round tomorrow, is the Par 3 comp on a Wednesday where all the players get to step out at Augusta with their families, and this year was no different.
Today is that day you can't wait to get to the office. The grind of the job? Well, that's for other people who don't have coworkers like this. In a land of giants, the smallest people this day make the biggest impact. And we, in turn, get to see them in a way we often don't. Just folks, somebody's parent. While we long ago accepted the fact that we'll probably never swing a club like them, on this day we notice that nonetheless, they're actually a lot like us.
Thanks for staying with us. Heading around the grounds, beginning at Augusta. The third round has just wrapped up. Shane Lowry became the first player in history to record 2 holes in one. He aced the 6th this morning. He also had a hole in one in 2016. Heading into the final round, Rory McIlroy and Cam Young are the joint leaders at 11 under, a shot clear of Sam Burns. Now, reigning surfing world champion Molly Picklum has finished runner-up at Bells Beach, beaten in yesterday's final by Hawaii's Gabriella Bryan. The men are today. Lachlan Kennedy has cracked the 10-second barrier again in the 100 metres to claim his first national title. It was his second 9.96 run in 24 hours, the fastest time by an Australian on home soil. Gout didn't run the 100, preferring to concentrate on the 200 today. Cyclone Baianu has caused today's supercars racing at Taupo to be cancelled in the two races yesterday. Championship leader Brodie Kostecki took out the opener before an historic moment with Toyota, new to supercars this year, getting his first win courtesy of young Kiwi Ryan Wood. The series moves on to Christchurch for the second leg of the New Zealand doubleheader. And get in on this, there's still a chance for your home or community to host the Cup as part of this year's Lexus Melbourne Cup Tour. Applications are open until April 30. Scan the QR code, make your submission. Winners to be announced in May. Nines WWOS Sports proud to be your home of the 2026 Lexus Melbourne Cup. So that wraps up everything that's been happening around the country and around the world in terms of sporting results over the last 24 hours. We asked the question earlier about the richest earners, the top money earners in Australian sport. We counted down 10 to 6. Now we're looking at 5 to 1. Just quickly before we reveal, who you got as number one?
I'd have to go Oscar Piastri. I think he'd be raking in at the moment. He's a good driver too.
Who else is in your top 5?
Well, Mary Fowler just had that massive $10 million Adidas deal, so maybe her or Sam Kerr could be a female in that top 5, maybe.
Guess what? Guess what? No women in the top 5.
Shocking.
Yeah.
So weird. But Oscar, I'm probably with Oscar.
Oh, I would have thought Minjee Lee would be in there.
No,
Minjee, yes.
She was in the top 50, but not. She was 17. Yeah. Let's have a look. Should we have a look?
Yeah.
Let's have a look at who exactly is in the top 5. So there you go. You got Jordan Mailata, NFL, Dyson Daniels, NBA, Josh Giddey, NBA, Cam Smith, of course, the live money. 44 to 46 million.
Yeah.
And there he is. You guys had it right.
57 million.
Yep.
Why has he got on grilled sponsorship then?
You remember the Oscar Piastri ad? He pretty much had every sponsor under the sun.
Yeah.
But is he happy? Is he happy?
Probably.
It's hard to tell.
I don't think he's worrying about fuel prices, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Electric, that's right,
Hey, we are going to talk some Super Rugby now. Berkey, perfect to have you here for this. The Drew and the Force. Got the match, of course, but really the talking point for Australian rugby was Zach Lomax making his debut on in the 60th minute.
Yeah.
How did he go?
He did enough to, I think, enjoy himself. I mean, what about the debut in Super Rugby? Fiji in Fiji. That is one of the toughest assignments you get actually asked for. He got a start. He realised that they are big, strong men that he's playing against. He got this little breakaway where he put Beale on the outside and felt, watch this, wow, he got hit there really hard. And he'll find his feet. They play the Crusaders next week over in Perth, and I reckon he might actually start the game just to get him involved. The Force ended up going down 24-22 in this game, and they had a couple of options at the end. They had a conversion to get equal, and they had a kick to win, and they missed them both. It is a really difficult place to play over against the Drew over there. But good to see him make his start. Obviously, 2 weeks ago against Queensland, he came up with hamstring soreness, and the expectation was he was going to play. What a great win they had over the Reds a week and a bit ago. But
the Drew are good front runners. They get their nose in front.
That's exactly it. Yeah. And especially over there. And he's difficult to back up. So, look, well done. Just more minutes under the belt and he'll get more and more comfortable.
Now, you mentioned the Reds. You were at the match last night. It was their 15-year reunion of their premiership in 2011. They had the Cup there. They had all the legends there. And the match itself kind of was reminiscent of that match in 2011. It was a little bit ugly as well. What did you make of it?
Yeah, a little bit scrappy. It was humid last night.
It always is.
Always, yeah. Beautiful Queensland. Look, they played really well in parts. Kalani Thomas here, really good little shimmy through there and scoring the try. It was Tim Ryan there getting over it. It went sort of back and forth, and the Crusaders held on to the Reds to half time at 19 all thereabouts. But then the Reds they pressurised the Kiwis team, and this is Louis Wershon scoring a runaway try in about the 75th minute. They got the bonus point at the end, the Crusaders, but well done to the Reds. They needed that after being whacked in the last couple of weeks, and they've got a bye this weekend as well, or as in next weekend. So they needed that to stay in contention, and they sit 5th on the ladder, so they're doing okay.
And the Brumbies game that they won against the Highlanders.
Yeah.
How are you rating their form at the moment, the Brumbies?
Watch the mini version of that one, about 6 minutes. That's about all. That's all that's needed over there. There wasn't a great deal that came out of this. What they did do is they got over there. They won against a really dogged Highlanders team. It was Luke Reimer in the end scoring the winning try to to put them in. It was only 14-10 in the end. It was like an old school test match type number. And it was just a difficult game. But they're playing some good footy. Take away this game here. If you go back to the start of the season, they ran the Brumbies, they ran the Crusaders off their legs. They're playing some good footy. They are sitting fourth at the moment on the ladder. So 2 Aussie teams in that top 6 is really good. And then Bernie Larkham's got them sort of humming a little bit, their coach. So look for them to do some good things for the rest of the season.
He'd be very happy with an ugly win in New Zealand. Any win in New Zealand.
Absolutely, yes.
Just quickly, before we let you go, there's a story that's sort of bubbling around. So the Wallabies had their worst test match result in a calendar year last year. They lost 7 of their last 8, including being clean swept on the spring tour. So they come back, they do a review, like you do every year. You've been involved in a couple of those with the Waratahs. But there's a few people a little bit unhappy that the review didn't really touch on how they're playing or how they train. It was more about where they were staying, you know, whether it was close enough to grounds, or all this sort of logistical stuff.
Yeah,
do you have anything on that?
The high performance side of it, isn't it? And you guys have been there as well. And it's about getting the athlete to their best possible position to play the game. And sometimes, you know, I was thinking about it as well, that sometimes you need a bit of resilience and a bit of adversity as well off the field to allow you to control yourself when you're on the field as well. If you get everything given to you and it's all easy, sometimes it's never easy when you're playing your game, when you're playing your sport, whether it's a race or a match type thing. Exactly right. And it's cruisy and it's difficult out there. So sometimes, I was thinking about it as well, Nick, sometimes it's got to be a bit of Rocky IV type thing. We need to go back to Rocky IV, like as in Ivan Drago and Rocky Balboa. Just old school sometimes.
Just running upstairs.
Just running upstairs.
Get them to watch that baseball match.
It'll do the same thing. I'll watch the baseball match. Oh, look, there was so much hype about that Lions series. Then they had that win against South Africa over in Johannesburg, and then it sort of just teetered out after that. So, frustrating year. Hopefully, mediocrity is not what they're looking for. They need to get better, absolutely.
All right, we are still a little bit more to come on Whitewater Sports. Chappelli and Elton John not far away.
How did you get interested in tennis, first of all?
Well, I played a bit at school, but I went to a rugby school, and it was the girls were allowed to play tennis and the boys weren't. So I just started learning by hitting a ball against a wall. And in the mid-70s, I became very friendly with Billie Jean King and a few other tennis players. And I really started, I went to a tennis school in America and sort of started playing in the mid-70s, then stopped. And then last year I went to the Caribbean to record an album. And I thought, if I'm going to do a tour to promote this, and I've really got to get myself playing tennis again. And I started playing out there in the heat. And I really sort of fell in love with it again.
You're a great believer that sport and music do mix.
Of course, it ties in a lot. Kids, I'd love to have been a sportsman, but I was a musician. But when you meet sports people, I find a hell of a lot of common with musicians.
Thanks, man.
Nice 12th man.
Good luck.
Cheers.
Elton John and Ian Chappell. The archive is doing well on Whitewater Sports. 1982, Berkey, these two weren't even born in 1982.
You were.
Don't talk to me.
You were about born in the 80s.
This afternoon, third plays fourth in the NRL, the Tigers and the Knights. You can see it from 3 p.m. Eastern, live and free on 9 and 9 now. Guys, thanks very much for your company today. Safe travels you too. Thank you for your company. We'll see you soon on Whitewater Sports.